Hello. You are listening to the Carroll Connection with your host, Jared Carroll.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Carroll Connection. I'm your host, Jared Carroll, here to bring you guys another great episode. Did want to take a chance to shout out my last episode 230 with Brian Perez, and he is a comedian and social media content creator. And on that episode, he talked about how he got into that and all the different things that he had to go through in terms of just doing reality shows and auditions and getting into the field and kind of where he's at and where he hopes to go with his content. So if you want to check that episode out, go to thecarrollconnection.simplecast.com. Also available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the major listening platforms. If you'd like to watch your podcast, go on YouTube, search The Carroll Connection or at Jared M. Carroll. It should pop up for you. And if you want to be a guest or return as a guest, hit me up on Instagram at Jared M. Carroll or at The Carroll Connection, and we'll set that up. And I'm going to plug the 5 Pillars to Create a Meaningful Life. It's only available on Amazon. If you get the book and you really like the book, please submit the book in the review on Amazon. It goes a long way in the algorithm, and it really does help me out. And I'm going to say this because, I know I haven't been posting a lot of content the past month and a half, just about. And part of the reason is just scheduling. I had people lined up, I had guests, and it just falls through sometimes. And there's nothing you could do about that. I'm not going to force content and change things just to make it happen because that's just inauthentic to the way I do this podcast. And I feel like as a host, I should explain kind of like a lapse in the gap of when I release episodes. So it's a little bit of a accountability of myself to kind of acknowledge that of why I haven't been doing content. And if you live in the New England area, we've been getting hit with snow. Basically, it feels like every weekend. So that's been part of it, just moving stuff around and accommodating other people and also myself and my fiance and doing what's best for me. So I got guests scheduled coming up for the next few months, and I'm hoping to keep that going and trying to get as many episodes as I can this year. So, not falling off, but just want to acknowledge the elephant in the room, kind of with those episodes. But switching gears, bringing us back. So this is episode 231, bringing in a guest. Hey,
What's up?
what's up? And shout out to Wear Silhouette because he is the reason that I was able to link up with you. He recommended you as a guest, and I always appreciate when I have former guests and they're recommending people for me, like yourself. And we've had a lot of great conversations pre-interview, and I think it's going to be a really great podcast to kind of dive into why you do what you do. And for people like that, it's like I don't have a podcast without guests like that. If guests aren't recommending other great guests, it's a lot harder on me to find people and do the research, and having that kind of filter of someone recommending people, it goes a long way. So, CeeLo, if you do listen to this, I appreciate you, and I think we're gonna have a really great podcast. So,
Facts, good looks, bro.
so bringing us back, let the people know who you are and kind of what you're doing currently.
So I go by A. I am a vocal engineer. I work through BO8, so I have my at-home studio where I record a lot of my stuff, and a lot of my close friends just kind of enjoy going to the house, kicking it, and creating a vibe and trying to make something happen.
Yeah, yeah. I want you to take that mic and put it a little bit more closer to you, and that way, perfect.
Word.
Yeah. Uh, it was picking up, but I just want it to be a little bit more clear for people. So, and we'll dive into that and how you got into that endeavor, and I think it'll be really great to understand the why behind things. So, like I was telling you off podcast, how I open my podcast is with family dynamic. And for any new listeners, I always kind of give it like a little cliche of why I do this. And when we're talking about your life story, I feel like talking about the beginning and the family dynamic is super important because it kind of lets the audience and myself also get a glimpse into kind of where you come from and gives a little bit of an explanation. And I think it's important when we're talking about your life story or building chronologically to kind of to go this route. And I always use the cliche analogy of if you think about building a house, what's the beginning pieces, like the foundation. And when I think about our family, is for better or for worse, that is the foundation on which we build the house. And I think it's always important to at least talk about this and acknowledge it. And if we go into detail, we can. There's a lot to be built off this essentially. But with that being said, I'm going to allow you to kind of dive into what your family dynamic was like.
I'm a middle child, bro. So I have an older sister. Her name is Crystal Lee, and then I have a younger sister. Her name is Brittany. Me and my older sister was always really close when we were growing up. It was basically same year, um, grade wise and shit like that. So like we started school over here in Rhode Island, and then I want to say like when I was like 10 or so, we moved to Florida, and I basically did all middle school in Florida. And we were really close. Like we was in basically almost like if it was 6 classes a day, we was probably in three of the same classes throughout the day. So and then like lunch and you know waiting to start school, like when you're in the beginning when everybody gets off the bus and stuff like that, we was always tight, stayed around each other, and just kind of helped each other progress in academics. Um, but like during that time of schooling, like we really bounced a lot around a lot. Um, so middle school, I was in Florida. After eighth grade, I started ninth grade in Florida. Halfway through the year, we moved to Georgia. And I didn't know anybody, and we just kind of stayed tight with each other and just kind of had each other's backs. And I want to say like maybe a year and a half later, we moved from Georgia back to Rhode Island. And at that point, I was just kind of tired of moving and having to start all over because like I would get friends and then lose friends and get interest and then have to give up interest just because I kept moving around a lot. And not even a year later, they wanted to move back to Florida. And I was like, I'm cool. Like, I'm staying in Rhode Island. Like, leave me here. And I just ended up staying with my grandma and my cousin. And I just finished out high school in Rhode Island.
I want to dive into, and if you're comfortable with, we can dive into this. How difficult was it to move around like that? You were kind of talking a little bit about it, but it's like I can only imagine, especially those pivotal years. Like when I think about, especially like middle school,
Hmm.
how much people are changing. Obviously, with all like puberty and all that bullshit, but like just people in general, and like how difficult and like judgmental of a time period that kind of is for a lot of us. How was that to move states away? Obviously, having a sibling there with you to go through it is kind of it's beneficial, it's helpful, but how much of a struggle was that for you?
For me, definitely a struggle because I'm super introverted, bro. Like, I don't really like talking to people like that. I don't like making new friends. And I don't know, I guess it was like a mysterious aspect where people would just want to talk to me. And I was just like very standoffish type of thing. Not in a negative way, just kind of like I'm very observant. So I'm very much, I need to know what you're like when nobody's looking to know if I want to really be your friend type of thing. Because it's just like I don't want to put myself around people with underlying agendas or just have a negative way or are like, yeah, I love you, but then they go to the next person and it's like, I hate this guy. But it's like, why are you always around? It's like that energy, soul sucking kind of aspect. Like I'm always like looking out for that just because it's like I've had friends where, we've been friends forever, but I'm always hearing you say negative things about me when I'm not in the room instead of defending my honor when I'm in the room type of thing. And that's very draining.
No, yeah, and man, that gets me thinking of so many different things. Specifically, what comes to mind right now is like as I entered in like content space, that was something I had to like learn a little bit more of being more mindful of the people that I'm bringing into my space, bringing into my content,
Mhm.
wanting to be a part of this, and like the agendas of what they want to do with my platform or how they want to or how they want to be perceived on the platform.
Mhm.
And like I don't think there's anything super wrong with that because I think if you don't have an agenda for yourself on some level, like that's a little fishy on some on that level, but like using the platform to launch stuff or like do things for them and when I don't know them either, it can be sometimes difficult to understand of like they want to steer it this way or then start offering suggestions of how I should do things. And it's like people always want to like give their opinion on something that you're doing, but they have no expertise or knowledge on. And it's always they want to like run your shit instead of just like letting you do the thing. And that gets me.
That's what I mean, bro. It's like, yo, like just being an engineer, like just seeing that through other people is like, bro. Like I have people that come in, they're like recording music and they're artists, you know what I mean? And then they bring a friend along who's not an artist, and then they're sitting there telling them how to do their music. And it's like, brother, I created this, you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna tell me how to present something that I'm actively working on and you're not even in the same field type of thing?
Mm.
Like you're a spectator, you know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
Dude, there's so many times as I've had um, people giving their. My favorite thing is like, it's like, why are you giving an opinion when I didn't ask for it? That type of thing. It's like
Facts.
it gets so frustrating where it's like, oh, you should do it this way, or you should like. I've had people critique the family part of the podcast, where like you should do that at the later part because sometimes people are a little like tightened up when I start talking about family. Like we're chilling the pre-interview, and then all of a sudden we turn the cameras on, and then we have to talk about family, and everyone's like, "Oop, like I don't know if I'm ready for this," and it's like the reason I do that though is because we're building a life story. We're telling a story. Like it's your story. And I feel like it's important to talk about that stuff because it get how many
Hmm.
times in like even just normal life does someone actually ask you, what was your family dynamic like? I don't know if I've ever really even been asked that in like a normal social setting, let alone like a podcast, even ones that I've been on. I've never really dove into that, like my own personal family stuff on going on like a guest on other shows. Like I've never experienced that. And for me, I feel like it's a way to like humanize people. Like we all have families, they're all different. And I think it's important to like to know that and to hear those stories because like I wouldn't have known that you moved around and had to experience different schooling and like the struggle of that. Like I wouldn't have never known if I just didn't ask. And that's a huge piece of your life because that's like crucial years when you're starting off and you have to start learning how to like socialize and make new friends and then switch it up and then do it again and like
You know
guard
what's
yourself.
craziest thing about that is that I had a friend in Georgia. Her name is Diamond, and that was my best friend in Georgia. And I used to hoop with her. We used to kick it all the time. And last year, I just went to the Bad Bunny concert in July, and just so happened to be in Puerto Rico at the same time, and we ended up kicking it. And I haven't seen her in like maybe like 10, 15 years, and we just kind of picked it up right where we left off, type of thing. And it was cool. Like, you know, you have those lifelong friends that you get that connection, and then you have friends that are like, all right, you was my boy in this phase of my life, and like it's kind of we're kind of past that now.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes me think of like someone I always like think of is my old roommate from when I was living in Texas, and I actually texted him recently because he is a Washington Commanders fan and everything of like about like that area, and hates the Patriots. So as soon as I shit you not, like as soon as they won the AFC Championship game, I just text him, "Did you miss us?" with the Drake May emoji or picture or whatever, and he goes, "Absolutely not." And it's just like I think about people like that where when I've had to move and make friends, like we don't talk like that all the time. This is probably the first time I text them in years, besides saying like happy birthday every once in a while. But like the different people that you meet in those periods can really leave a huge impact on you. And these conversations don't always happen with like everyday life because we don't think about it and like they matter. Like your relationship and connection to your friend Diamond matters to you. Like that was a huge thing for you at that point in your life and it's even cooler to have that reconnection later in life unexpectedly. Like
Yeah, it was cool because like I was like, "Yo, you're here," and she's like, "Yeah, I'm here. You're here." I'm like, "Yeah," and
it's totally unplanned, just like
like the first day we had to when we got to Puerto Rico, um, I got there at like 9 a.m., so I couldn't even check into the B&B until like 3, and I
the
just ended up
worst.
just kicking it with her at the hotel, and we kind of went around and just hung out, hit a couple beaches, and yeah, it was nice coincidence.
Yeah, and I think having those coincidences is like healing in some way because like it's so unplanned where it's like it makes you question the spirituality of things and like how is this all connected in some deeper like how did like what are the odds like that's like it's hard to believe in
Yeah,
coincidences
yeah.
sometimes it's like that it feels like it's like meant to like happen that way like it's weird the way that life works out in those scenarios and I just think it's a good example of like kind of like why I start talking about the family dynamic stuff because these conversations are going to build and build and like even we went down a little rabbit hole right there of like opinions from other people on our craft like because of like stuff like that and it just sparks good conversation. I always think that's super important to have. I want to continue building on this though and start diving a little bit more into like childhood specifically about like sports hobbies like what did you kinda do to, like to make friends and stuff like that? Obviously, you're talking about moving around a lot, but, like, were there hobbies and or sports or whatever that you used to make friends?
So like early elementary, I wasn't really sports like that. I mean, I hooped for a little bit, but it was just like on the court, recess type of thing. But when I moved to Georgia, that's a big football state, bro. So like my parents never let me play football just because, they were kind of scared of injury and stuff like that. But like organized on a team, tackle, especially in Georgia, because they're super big on that. They had people weight training
Oh,
as
some
an
big
elect
boys.
that was an elective over there, bro. So they really didn't like want me playing football like that, but I was still playing anyway. And like we lived on a cul-de-sac, so we had all the homies coming to the cul-de-sac and playing tackle, no pads. And I was playing with the kids. I was playing football for real. And that was kind of just my thing. My pops is very big into football, and I mean, I kind of taught myself how to play and gain skill and stuff like that. But
You're the friend that everyone begged to play, huh? Like, they probably begged you to, like, get on the field.
in that era, yeah, because like I was like the smallest person there essentially, but I was still trucking dudes and
Yeah.
getting tutties and stuff like that. So um, that just kind of carried over just from my dad just playing. Like I remember back in the day, like probably like my favorite memory is my pops. He had for Christmas one year bought me the NFL street ball. That was the toughest ball I ever had, you know what I mean? And we used to play in Florida on the street. So it was just straight concrete, two-hand touch type of thing, you know what I mean? And um when we moved to Georgia, we was playing on grass, like tackle, no pads, like dudes getting knocked out and fights happening just because it was like on that level of physicality, you know what I mean? And I mean, that just carried over. Like now, I used to run Twitch doing 3v3s and just kind of recording that, putting it up on Twitch and YouTube, even Flag, like 7v7s on Flag, and just kind of running that and just running pickup games and doing that type of stuff. But
You still play flag?
hell yeah, I love
Oh,
Flag, bro. I love
I've
Flag.
been doing flag for shit, it's gotta be, like,
I love
10
Flag,
years
bro.
now.
Like,
I played football, like, my whole life, and, like, I actually broke my finger, it's still recovering, back in November. I it basically it's mallet finger. So like I went to grab someone's it's this finger. I went to grab their flag and like
oh,
it
that
like
shit popped.
got caught
No.
and like I have the footage because like I bring my cameras to flag and I record all my stuff
Mm,
and I make someone like hold it. Whoever's on the sideline, they have to record it and hold it while like the game's happening. And I have the footage. I don't react. It doesn't look like anything special. And then I remember next play, I'm like, look at my fingers like bent a little bit. Like
caught an L on your
I'm like
finger.
I'm like, "Guys, I think I broke my finger." They're like, "Nah, you didn't break, you probably just jammed it. Maybe it's dislocated." So I tried to push it.
That shit hurt.
Oh, it was not I'm like, "It's not moving." They're like, "Nah, it's jammed, it's just jammed." And then, I get as I'm getting ready to, like, to head back because it was like, of course, it's like the end of the game when this happens, like, fucking of course. And I'm getting in the car, like, the adrenaline's starting to wear off, fucking thing swelling up, and then, like, the whole finger
That's
swelling
the
up.
sign, the
And
swelling.
then it's bruising down the sides of my finger, and I'm like, that looks broken. Like I'm like, it's just jammed. Like I think it's broken, and like I get home, and of course I start fucking panicking. Like immediately, I'm like, I think I broke this. But luckily, I had a splint from like when I like jammed a finger before, so like I had
Mm,
something. I put it on immediately. I was icing it, and then I went to the emergency care uh, the next day because I was like, I think I should go. Like I was like debating because like if you go, you're gonna spend mad money just for them to tell you you jammed it and it's sprained and
yeah.
nothing. Because I
That's
was
the shit about healthcare here, bro. That shit
that's a
sucks.
whole that's a whole rabbit hole we can go down. I mean, I'm right there with and I can tell you everything about this thing and what it's cost me. It's like been actually fucking insane. And the initial like X-ray that I got on it, they were like, we don't see any fracture or anything like that. I got a call later that day at 7 o'clock
It's
at
a
night.
hairline fracture.
It was a fracture. And then when I got sent to, they're like, oh, you need to go to what's the orthopedic. So then I go to the
Yeah.
orthopedic. They're like, we need to do an X-ray. The X-ray, it's like, yeah, that's a pretty bad fracture. Like I had to get a custom splint, and it was in the splint. Typically, a mallet finger. So basically, what a mallet finger is you're fracturing like the joint, basically, of like where your finger bends, like at the tip of it, and if you don't heal it properly, it'll just droop. So like, so think
Mm,
about like it happened to Drew Holiday for the Celtics when he was on the team last year. So like a ball hits it or jams it, and like you can have like a permanent like bend basically if you don't straighten it. And I had to get a custom cast, keep that on, and I could not bend my finger for it's supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. Mine was in 10 weeks, and if you bend it, it resets the whole timeline, and you have to start over because you have to allow the healing. So like the crack of like the fracture can like heal itself before even bending it. Because if you bend it, breaks all the cartilage, it starts over again. So you have to let it reheal. So I had to go through all that process, and like I still, if I make a fist for you, I can't. I can't make a
yo,
fist.
I've
Flag football.
yo, my cousin, he used to play Q, and I think the most gruesome shit I've seen is like so like we had dudes cutting like this coverage, and there was one dude in the middle that he was trying to get the ball to. He did get it in the pocket, but he threw the bullet so hard that when man tried to catch it like this, the ball went right through his finger and snapped his finger that way. And like instantly, man started yelling and like, blood leaking or whatever. But like he literally turned his finger to a L, and
Bro,
off of just the lace just popping the finger off. And it's
crazy.
just
And
like
it's like,
crazy.
I'm like, bro, we're playing for nothing. Like we're not in a league. It's
I had
just
never
pick
seen
up.
that dude back on the field again.
And crazy, shit you not, like it had to be 2 years prior. I pulled my hamstring. I played football my whole life. Played baseball. I played sports. I used to play basketball for a little bit. Never had an injury. Pulled my hamstring, bro. It's almost never been the same. Like,
Oh my god, that's happened to me before playing football too, bro. And like I skate too, so like skated. I don't really kick around a lot or do tricks. I mean, I push around, but not too many tricks. Just I've gotten rocked just skating a lot. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
rolling ankles and all that.
bro.
So
It
it's
was one
just
of
like
those
it
injuries where now
sucks.
like people like might be time to give up the sports. I'm like, bro, something
I
like this.
can't. You can't. It's like
As soon as you
therapeutic,
do,
bro. It's just therapeutic.
there's
It's
nothing
just
better like on like a Sunday because we'll do it like 11 a.m. and we'll do it like we'll be done by like 12:30 before the 1 o'clock kickoff. And it's like
yeah.
I'll go play football. I bring my speaker. I got my camera with the guys we played with for like these last 10 years. We get new guys here and there because you know how it be. And it's like play that, get a nice burrito from Baja's, sit my ass down, watch Patriots at 1 o'clock, have a nice coffee, and it's like there's nothing better than that. I get to go play with and it's another chance to like see those guys because I don't see those guys other than football. Like
Yeah.
we're all doing different stuff with life and shit. So it's like you said, it's therapeutic to have a place to like to bond with your guys and like be competitive because like it's not serious, but it's competitive. Like we're not out there just half-assing it. Like you got to actually like go.
You got the yappers on the field, bro.
There's always a fight, and it's like we've known each other for years, and it's always someone or something, and like it's the same people all the time typically, and it's like
Mhm.
it becomes comical sometimes, and like I try to rage bait, like I always try to like
You gotta get in their head,
yeah, or be like
Kevin Garnett
I'm
mode.
like bro, that's not first down. What are you talking about? I'm like I've got your
Mhm.
flag. It's a stiff arm, or like some crazy, just like see if you can get them, and it's so funny, like, to see, like, the competitive nature of, like, the guys and stuff still going, even though it's like, this means nothing. We're all gonna come back next week at the same time and play the same game to 12 points or whatever it is, 12 touchdowns, and that's it. But I think it's just funny because, like, well, if we ever need a guy next year, I'll hit you up and be like, hey, we're trying to get guys, and if you got
I'm down, bro. Like, hit me up. I
absolutely,
am
and if you
with
got
it.
other guys, like
I got flags. I
we
got flags. I got cones. I got the ball. All that. You know
I'll
what I
show
mean?
you my
So,
Instagram. I make like highlight reels like after and like I
oh,
post
fire.
yeah, like my personal Instagram. So like on my reels tab, it's literally just like all like football shit. It's just like I don't know. I just find it fun. Like some of us make cool plays. Like sometimes it's really cool plays. Sometimes it doesn't
I
look
got
good
a
on camera.
lot. My YouTube is deep. Go peep my YouTube,
We'll
yo.
plug it. We'll definitely plug
Deep.
it.
3v3s, half court. 'Cause who the fuck got a person to run up and down full court
Yeah,
to
yeah.
record you? That's the toughest thing I think about filming, trying to get, that footy. I only originally started filming us playing because it was like, bro, if I die tomorrow, I have kids now. Like, at least they'll be able to see me in my element on YouTube. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that was kind of like my thought process behind it. You know what I mean? And also other people, like, it became a thing where other people was like, yo, I really appreciate you filming because like I'm watching myself and how I'm running plays and what I need to work on. And um my little cousin, Darren, he got a scholarship to play football now, you know what I mean? And he was playing with we had him since he was like 8 years old, playing with 21-year-olds, you know what I mean? And just him watching over his own footy and going, obviously to his practice and dealing with coaches like that kind of like made him stand out because he was already playing with people that were already skilled, like way skilled than anybody else he was playing with at high school or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just a cool thing to have. Um, just for documentation purposes, you know?
you nailed that. And like, I mean, we were kind of talking a little bit about that, like off the podcast when I was like referencing of like me wanting a family and hopefully being able to show them this type of stuff. And like I think documentation in terms of like what we're doing every day or playing sports, even if it's just pickup or if you're podcasting or making music, like record the stuff. Like
It
it's worth it.
seems like when you do it though, it seems like, oh, this is stupid. I don't want when you first start, it's stupid. What am I doing this for? And then it becomes like bigger than what you even thought about when you first started.
Yeah, it's supposed to feel corny and like unnatural in some ways because it unironically is. Like that's and the beauty of it. Like it's corny until it's not. That's like the thing I always see on social media. It's like when people talk about like being a content creator or like on like TikTok, it's like, yeah, posting all the time, it's gonna feel corny when you have like 10 likes, 15 likes, 30 likes, 200 views, whatever. Until it's not, until people are fucking with it. Because it's starting to get out there more and more. And it's like,
And it's like that's the shit though. Is like I feel like right now a lot of these motherfuckers just want to make content so that they can be seen. And like that's not really what I started it for. It was literally just I just had a baby. My daughter was like what, 2 years old when I started recording. And I'm like, bro, like I could walk outside in the street and get run over by a car right now, and like she'll never be able to hear my voice again, type of thing. Because like at that time, I wasn't recording music. I wasn't really into none of that. Like I took a really big hiatus from recording music and doing that type of thing. And I just kind of fell in love with skating and playing sports again. Like I said, for me, it's like sometimes you get in this depressive state or this stagnant state where you're just like self reflecting. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? And that's just a release to get rid of those demons in your head. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I take it. Like I need contact. That's a little part of why I got into doing MMA and shit like that, rolling and BJJ is just like you get like frustrated with yourself. For me, like I'm very introverted, but there's also that element of rage and frustration that still kind of lingers within. And like instead of bottling that down, like the release for me is contact sports, you know what I mean? So like it's friendly fire. Like, yeah, we're cool, but if you catch a stiff arm, don't be mad at me, you know what I mean? Like That's just the way I gotta like release that.
Yeah, and it's good to have those releases because when you don't, bad things can happen and stuff in situations that you don't want to happen. There's so many instances like you'd see on like the news or social media where like someone clearly has like their own issues and they're releasing it on people they love or people they cared about and it becomes a whole issue and then the law gets
Yeah.
involved and you don't want that. Like especially for like men, I talk a lot about like men's mental health. Like you got to have a release, like whether it's the gym or a contact sport or like something to get you physically moving, get the physical energy out of you. Like you have to do
It's a
that in some
fact.
way. And
Yeah.
like for a lot of us, as we get older, contact sports becomes harder. So like I always recommend the gym. I think
Your
it's the
body,
easiest
bro, your
place.
knees don't work the same
Yeah.
way, bro.
At a certain place, you
It's
got
like
and this is I mean, that's a reason why a lot of people need to get in the gym and do stuff early. Like when you're young, do the things. Like I've been lifting since I was in 8th grade. Like as soon as like and I think like my parents, like my coaches for like encouraging that because like I mean, I'm a small guy. I'd be literally a twig if like I didn't exercise and lift weights. Like my like stockiness in some sense comes from me lifting since I was in 8th grade. Like
mm,
I was able to play football and be a linebacker and play receiver and be a captain during like my high school days because I lifted. Like the coaches saw me in the gym. I would be like one of the only guys in the gym, one of the smallest dudes squatting and lifting some of the most weight because like it's a mentality. I was instilled with that. It's part of this hard work and ethic that you have to put in. But like it's that physicality, it's that driver. It's like you crave it in some way. And like I thank them for that because I still have that. And I'm able to build on it. Like I'm not starting from ground zero because I can only imagine how difficult that is for someone to like
mhm.
try to learn those things or those skills, especially gym related. Like, especially in a time people are so judgmental. Like, I can only imagine someone trying to start exercising in a gym, not knowing how, looking awkward and feeling like you're being judged. Like, luckily, we had like weight rooms in the high school and like a friend's basements that were like basically professional gyms. And I got to like get that awkward stage out then where no one was really watching. So, like, now if I go to a gym, I'm it's just normal. Like I bench, squat, deadlift, all that stuff. Like it's nothing. I know the technique behind it, and I think it's just like important that men specifically have that outlet for people. So when you're talking about like sports and stuff like that, that really resonates with me because like I've created spaces for that to get those demons out of me so I can have a place to put those.
I
So when I
feel
come
you.
back to my fiance or my family and like my friends, I'm not a dickhead. I'm not an asshole. Like I'm trying to get that
Store
shit
that shit
out.
in Pandora's box, y'all.
Yeah. Cause like you gotta have some of that to be like somebody. Like it's a drive thing. It's an energy thing. Like you gotta have a little bit of hardness to you to like suffer in this world. Like life's not easy. Shit sucks a lot of the time.
That's a
But
fact.
like if you're able to withstand a lot of that and struggle through it, success is on the other side of that. No matter how
Mhm.
long it takes, as long as you have that mindset, that positive energy mindset of like, I'm gonna be good no matter what. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna power my way through this because like I love the saying of like you survived 100% of your bad days. Like you like there's gonna be one obviously one bad day you're never gonna survive, but like you've survived them all to this point. Who's to say you can't survive the next one?
Right.
Just keep going. And like that mindset is definitely influenced through physicality in sports. And it's why I bring up sports when we talk about it early in the podcast, is because I think there's a huge difference in people who play sports and who don't play sports because the
Mhm.
skills that you learn, especially sports that are physical, it's hard to teach that in other ways. Like there's obviously hobbies and stuff where you can learn it, but like sports like the ultimate unifier in teaching like life lessons that translate really well into like the real world. And I think it's always interesting just to hear how people learn or people play different sports to get different lessons. So that's kind of why I talk about it. Like it's not just some random thing that I was like, yeah, what sports did you play? Like no, like there's a reason behind stuff. Like I think a lot of time too many people just do stuff for no reason. Like I'm big like why are we doing this type of shit? But regardless, steering us back into the conversation and building on this, you were talking about having your daughter and then making music and how it kind of was like how you kind of got it back into it. I want to like backpedal a little bit to like maybe like senior year of high school, looking at like the landscape of like your life? Like, did you go to college? Did you not go to college? Like, how did you get on the path that steered you towards music and engineering?
Um, my bad, yo.
Like,
I'm cooking under these fucking lights. I need to take this hoodie
you're
off,
good.
bro.
You're good. Yeah, that is.
Um,
It's warm in here. If
yeah, yeah,
you want to do it now, you can take your hoodie off
yeah,
and think about
yeah.
your answer. Not gonna and back. So, building off kind of what I was just saying, we'll kind of recap of talk me through your life path in terms of mostly post high school and then how you kind of got into music and engineering, like what led you down this path?
So it's funny you say high school because, like, how I told you, I went to high school in Florida for those first couple years. My, I'm Dominican, Puerto Rican. My grandfather, he was into music. My family's like deep in music, bro. Like, at least like my Dominican side of the family. My Puerto Rican side too, but my Dominican side of the family, that's really where I really got into music. I used to play instruments, so my grandfather used to play merengue, so it's like fast paced kind of Spanish music. Um, and he used to play a drum called tambora. It's basically a wooden drum, but it has double side. Like you play one side with a stick, the other side with your hand, and kind of make the beat to the song. And I learned how to play that, and that's really what kind of exposed me into music and getting timing down and learning notes, stuff like that. Um, as far as like going professionally, I was like 13 playing and getting paid to play music at ranches where people are, selling food, got the pig on the roast. Everybody's like, out there, and I'm on the stage playing music and people are dancing type of thing. Um, Prior to that, I was in band, bro. I was top trumpet player in middle school. So like I was lead head trumpet player, all that. And I learned how to read music there. I don't know how to read music anymore, but I did have it in the bag at one point. It's just I haven't done it so long, and when you don't practice something for a long time, you kind of lose it. Um, but in high school, I was getting paid to play in shows, and I learned how to play an array of different drums and just percussion instruments. Just getting away from the horns and stuff like that. Um, when I moved back to Rhode Island after I decided to stay in high school, 2010, that's when I started like rapping. Like I wasn't really a rapper. I never wanted to be a rapper or anything like that. Or, you know, my dad would always tell me, bro, like you could have made that song, bro. Like you could have made this stupid song and rapped like that. And I just kind of brushed that shit off all the time. And I started early 2010 days, 20 maybe like 2008. I started becoming a stoner, bro. And it's crazy, like, weed gets all this negative shit, but like I've gotten so much positive things out of weed, relationships, hobbies, stuff like that. Like it just kind of expanded my creativity in that sense. And through smoking cannabis, it was like I was with the homies and all of a sudden we was in a cipher in the car just rapping and bullshitting, you know what I mean? And my boy's like, yo, like why don't we start recording this? And he had like a little booth in his room, and all the homies would go over there and record music and stuff like that. And we just was like, all right, fuck it, let's do this, and started recording music. And at that time, we didn't really know what we was doing. I mean, I have tracks from that era where the sound quality is garbage, but it's memories. It's captured memories, and just listening to Nas, Tribe Called Quest, Big L, all these types of, you know, superstars. That's just kind of given motivation into my rap style and stuff like that. But, like I said, I took a 13-year hiatus off of music just in general. And when I moved back here like 12, 13 years ago, I knew my boy was here, but I didn't really pursue. Every time he would see me, bro, when are we gonna make music again? When are you gonna get back in here? Yo, just come to the studio. And I would never go, bro. And like 3 years ago, I was like, fuck it, I'll pull up to the studio. I pulled up and picked up right where we left off. And from there, I just got hip to new Pro Tools and how to, use different plugins and stuff like that. And, getting game from my boys and getting hired at BO8 Studios and getting the training from them and that type of stuff. Just kind of learning how to engineer through that method. And from there, I ended up purchasing one of our old setups from BO8. We upgraded everything at the studio, and I just kind of purchased the old setup and brought that to my house to kind of, you know, sharpen my craft. And, since then, I've just been kind of taking off and making connections and popping out to different shows here and there in the city and kind of networking with other artists and, trying to get them to come through and curate a safe space and a relationship where people know that I take it serious. And I'm very much an engineer where, you have these engineers where people will come and record and he's just there pressing the buttons. It's like, all right, cool, I got paid. All right, see ya. Um, I've kind of curated a space where people come into my space and they're like, all right, we're gonna record, but I want you to tell me how it is. What do you think is missing? Like they very much want my input in their craft too, just because we've kind of created that bond, so to speak, through music and listening to how my sound sounds and other work I have done. Um, and that's something I'm very prideful of because it just shows that, people have a level of trust in my ear and my taste and just kind of my layering skills on how you want the sound to be. So anytime anybody comes to record me, I always let them know, I'm here for you and I'm here to elevate your sound. If it doesn't sound right, we can fix it this way, that way. And, if it doesn't sound right, but you like the recording, you are more than welcome to take the whole file and bring it to somebody else to mix if that's what you really want.
I
A
like
lot of
hearing
a lot
that.
of people don't like that shit, and they're not gonna give you the file because they don't want you to take the work and bring it somewhere else because it's their work. But like, you have something in mind that I'm not able to achieve, I'm not gonna be pissed off about that. Go bring it to somebody else and bring that shit back to me so I can see what they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the fact that you're going beyond the job of it in making the relationship too, and earning the trust of whoever's in the studio to like ask you for your opinion on this. How do I make this better? Because that's how you know you're in an actual good environment, a collaborative environment where learning and growing can actually happen. If you're not in a space where you feel comfortable to ask how this is or how can I do this better, you're probably not in a space that you need to be in. You probably should move on to somewhere else. Or you need to ask that person to adjust how they're teaching you or guiding you or whatever it is, because life's always about growing no matter what you do.
That's a
And if
fact.
you're not working with others, you're doing it all wrong, cuz like we can't do this by ourselves. No matter what anyone says, like you're in this by yourself, whatever, whatever.
It's not though, and that's like a big thing with me and my bro Angel Mercedes. Is like we have this movement. We go by the Pirates, and the movement is basically like we're people want to ride the same wave, whereas we're trying to charter new water. We're trying to create something brand new. We're not looking to carbon copy and flip what you just did and all these people riding AI and doing all the same shit. It's like, bro, like that's a tool at the end of the day. You can use that to your advantage, but the more you saturate it, the less your creativity is in it. You can spit shit into it to spit back, but did you really do that? You know what I mean? And that's kind of my thing. Is like, bro, like we are creating a space where we're welcoming all types of art, all types of art form. Um, we have people that paint, we have people that make jewelry, we have people that rap, we have people that do poetry. And it's like literally everybody in Rhode Island's a pirate. You're taking what's yours, essentially. You're not asking permission for it, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the movement that we're on, it's like I told you before the podcast, is like we get denied shows all the time. You know what I mean? But we're still pulling up and we're still gonna perform. And at the end of the day, everybody, the same thing happens. Everybody pulls up like, yo, you guys really did that. You're so dope. And it's like, bro, like you're not gonna tell me I can't do something just because you're afraid I'm gonna steal the show. That's not what this is about. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to share the sugar, and Rhode Island's very much a gatekeeping community. And our mission is just to kind of break that mold and invite everybody in.
I love that. And like, I always like think about when I have someone on the podcast and like we're talking about what they do and how they do it and like why they do it. And it always comes back to the same thing of like helping others. No matter what it is, like you could be someone who makes jewelry or someone who has a podcast or someone who does music, someone who writes a book. Like we're all doing these things to help and typically inspire other people to go chase whatever they want to do. And you can't do that without other people. And like you said, I think a lot of the problem, especially in a small state like Rhode Island, and even bleeds into Massachusetts a little bit locally, is people are afraid that someone's going to steal their shine in some way instead of trying to help each other shine. Like if you're working with someone and they happen to like blow up or have success, it's natural to feel jealousy towards that because you're after similar things. But instead of showing the jealousy and expressing that jealousy for them, you support them and rock with them. And that person, when you're on that high, you're supposed to help your fellow peers around you that have been rocking with you. You don't help all the people that haven't talked to you in 10 years. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that are genuinely reaching out to you or like complimenting your music or complimenting a podcast, like actively involved in your community. Those are the people you look out for. Those are the people you uplift and give opportunities to.
That's a fact. And it's like I'm not the best at what I do. Obviously, everybody has room for improvement and room to grow and learn and all that other shit. I'm not the best engineer compared to other people that have been in the game for so long, but I'm willing to learn. I'm not the best rapper. I'm not the best performer. But like, that shit takes time. And just kind of, I'm very appreciative of all of the resources and connections that I have made through just, like I said, just being on that pirate shit where it's like, at this point, I really don't give a fuck what nobody says. We're still doing this. You know what I mean? And taking what's yours. And that's kind of, given, it just gives you a different self confidence in what you do, and bringing that. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, doing art and presenting that shit to people, that shit is hard. That shit is hard. The first time when I first dropped my tape last 420, it's called Headspace. I set up an event, I made a 420 party, all that shit. That shit was dope. But there were situations that happened and motherfuckers getting too stoned where I totally bombed my set. And it was embarrassing. But from there, that was like a teaching piece to me. It's like, yeah, we wrote this, we did this, but performing in the studio and performing in person are two totally different things. You're in the studio by yourself, so you have your own confidence and you have your, all right, let me do it again type of thing. But when you're in person, you could bomb that shit. And like, I could have took that and been like, yo, I'm never doing this again. I bombed, I suck, I'm never doing this again. I never want to present again type of thing. And like, I would have done that years ago and been like, yo, fuck performing. That shit's not for me. But just being around other artists and people that were involved in that, my brother Angel Mercedes is like, my bro Sean Blade is like, they kind of saw something in me where it's like, yo, bro, like, don't let that shit fuck you up. We got to do more now. It's only up from here. We got to do more. And, we're going to do this, this, and this. Of course, we had rocky road to get here, but we kind of stuck it through, and now we're like, we're just up right now, just taking off. Just everything we talked about last year, we're now putting in motion. You know what I mean? And that goes back to what I was saying, is just kind of reading people. It's like, I don't want to put myself in a group where everybody's trying to work to the same goal, but everybody's also selfish with their own shit. You know what I mean? Because like, where are we really going? You know what I mean?
Going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
Because like everyone's gonna be about theirs, focused on theirs, and then nothing ever progresses. Because if you're the only one working on it, not much is gonna happen to it because you're only one person. You only know so much, you can only do so much. Like, but if you got tons of other people collaborating on your idea, things can start snowballing. Someone could say something that could trigger a thought in your head, like, oh, I could do it this way, I could do that. And someone in your group might know how to do something that you don't know how to do. And you work on it together, and then they might pick on something that
And that's
you have a
that's
skill.
exactly, you hit that shit right there. It's like, yo, like I know how to write music. I know how to put my shit together. I know how to change flow. I know, how to create a vibe on a song. But performing when I started, that was not in my bag. And just my brother just kind of kept putting me on, like, nah, calling me, yeah, hey, you're at home, you're not doing anything? Nah. All right, get dressed. We're going over here. We're gonna perform right now. Like for real? Like that? All right, cool. And just kind of that repetition, getting those reps in, just kind of shaved off the nervous aspect, the jitters before the show, and oh my God, what if I forget my bars? And going through that anxiety is like that could make or break you. That could really make or break you.
Yeah, like when I was talking about um, early in the podcast or pre-podcast, um, talking about my quarantine connection little mini series that I made with my cousins in the early days of this podcast. I probably don't make it to this episode with you if I didn't create that mini series to create reps for myself to do this podcast. Because like
That's that snowball effect, bro.
you have to get the reps in no matter what. Like, and it's something that like I've kind of always just believed in no matter what, is like it's gonna work out no matter what. Like, no matter how long it takes, it's gonna work out because I'm consistently and relentlessly still doing this. Like, this is year 7 of me doing the podcast. Yeah, I had about a month and a half where I wasn't doing episodes. But if I showed you my calendar, I had scheduled all of January, I scheduled all of February, and like people don't show up, people don't show up. Like I can't control that. And I'm not gonna just pull shit out of my ass just to make content. That's just not
It's a
who I am.
fact.
And
Yeah.
I've done that in the beginning, and it just wasn't. I was doing it more to hit 100 episodes. I was like targeting
That's a
that for so
goal though,
long.
but that was a goal to get you where you're at, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't get to like this level of being a host and having a platform without those episodes. But like looking at it now, I don't need to do that because those were like kind of filler and like learning experience moments for me. Like I needed to like
Mhm.
have those solo episodes of like talking to just a camera and just getting used to just having a conversation with myself and an audience, to have a conversation with the guest and also an audience. Like it's like you were saying, repetition. The more reps that you can get, the better you can be at your craft. And without that continuous like repetition over and over again, you're gonna go nowhere fast. You're gonna be doing the same thing over and over, and people are like, "That shit's just whack. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to deal with that."
That's that shit, and like I'm mad thankful for my mom just kind of instilling that in me, and always, yo, make sure you're watching your back, your third eye's on. You have like recognizing that I have that different intuition where it's like, yeah, I don't really talk like that when I'm in a room full of everybody. We got a social gathering. I'm the motherfucking corner, rolling up a joint, minding my business. You know what I mean? Just kind of reading the room and observing. And it's like, it's a gift. And like, I kind of have a good read on a lot of people. And my mom, my mom just kind of instilled that in me. And, just me just continuing to go and push is like a lot of people don't have the backing of their parents, and that could be very derailing for somebody. But it's like my fam listens to my shit and like they're my biggest fans, and it's kind of cool because it's like when I first started making music again, I was so hesitant on sharing my music to my family. Just cause like fuck, what are they gonna think? Like, what are they gonna say? The shit that I'm rapping about, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like they're hearing that shit and they're like, yo, that shit was fire. You need to put something else out. And like, even my little sister, you know what I'm saying? Like me and my little sister, we were close but not close. It's like, on and off type of thing. But like, I love her so much. She's my twin. I love her so much. And she's like my biggest fan, bro. It's like, she's like, yo, I need you to put this out right now. Like, you can't keep holding on to these tracks. Like, really just giving me that extra push to like, damn, it's fire. Like, you make a podcast and you're just like, bro, was that a good episode? Did I like say the right things? And it's like, same thing with the music. Like, is that really a good track? Should I put this out or is this shit gonna be embarrassing?
And building off that too is like my family is like some of the biggest supporters. Like, I mean, like I was telling you, my second episode with my late grandfather, like he was so like enthusiastic about like the fact that I was going to create something like this. He was like, "You should do it." I was like, and him and my grandmother, they had their own business at the time. It was like selling like local art and stuff like that. So like they were the perfect type of person to have on like the podcast because like that's the stuff I look for is like business owners, creators, like whatever it is, like local stuff. And he really just loved the idea of it, and maybe he saw something that I didn't at the time, like because like, I was so a little delusional of, like,
That's what it
what a kid.
is. Like, you can't see yourself because it's yourself. That's the thing. It's like, even like I said, my homie, my parents, my sisters is like, I'm second guessing and I'm so into my fucking head that they're like, yo, stop. Like, you got it. You know what I mean? That type of support is unmatched.
And that's part of the reason I always talk about family dynamic because, like, you don't know what people's structure is, and, like, I'm super grateful for the way my family is and super supportive and like I'm blessed that like even like my parents are still together and like they're supportive of each other and like they've gone through hell like supporting each other and they've had tough times and like I've been able to see that and them grow together and like, even most of my family like a lot of them are still together and like the support within, like, especially, like, the Carroll name, like, I don't take that lightly, like, their name's also on this too, like, I'm a representation of all of us in some form or fashion, and, like, if I'm out here talking about fucking stupid nonsense, like, that's a reflection of my family too, instead, like, I chose the path of, like, positivity, motivating, and talking about mental health and life story, like, that's something I'm proud of because like, we all got that, like, we all going through something, and, like, I wanna put that out into the world instead of a billion of those other podcasts that are talking about nothing. Like, at least, like, if, like, I die tomorrow, I'm proud of what I created. Like, I can hopefully from up above or wherever I go next, I can look down and know that people have this still. They could share this with other. They can hear what I was saying on episodes, even if they're not listening tomorrow when I drop this or whatever. Like, they'll go back and listen. They'll finally listen to what I was saying after the fact. Because sometimes that's what art is. Like, they don't always appreciate it in the moment. It's always after the fact. And with being an artist, you kind of have to accept that on some level. Sometimes it doesn't work like
It's
that.
true too. It's like, I've like getting to this point of just kind of seasoning myself doing shows. It's like, my bro's always like, yo, like, do you realize what you just did? And in that moment, you're like, no, bro, like, what are you talking about? And then you start getting those people coming up to you after the show, like, yo, you guys really killed that. Like, I don't even know you, bro. Where did you come from? Type of thing. And it's like, just having that support system. Even my girl is like super supportive of me, and like,
Helps ground
that's
you
that's
too.
another thing, is like, if your partner's not supportive of you and what you do, that could really fuck you up. Like, just not even like in making stuff still, but like the relationship in general.
100%. Like,
Um,
I mean, my book doesn't happen without my fiance editing it. And I mean, I had a ton of grammatical errors. Like, I'm not an English major or good in English. That was like my least favorite subject. But she believed in it. She believed in me. She allows me to even have this space to do the podcast and like she enjoys listening to the conversation because again, I'm not talking about nothing. Like I'm talking about stuff that actually matters and like
yeah, like,
that pushes me forward.
it definitely does. And like, I just created a song like last week, and like, she's like, put that shit on, run that shit back. I need to hear it in the car. I need to hear it over here. And it's like, yo, for real. And like, randomly, she'll just start come rapping my verse to me, and I was just like, this is like, it's so weird when people come up to you and start giving your art back to you because they're appreciative of it.
I've even had people and like I mean, I wear my merch and shit everywhere I
Yeah,
go
yeah,
and
yeah.
like I had the one that really sticks out to me was like I was getting an oil change done and it was the mom of one of my guests. And like once she said it, I was like, yeah, you guys look like twins. But like I wasn't like not thinking about that when you're getting your oil change. It's like, oh, it's the mom of my guest. Like, but she's like, I listened to your episode and I'm so grateful that you have a platform you could talk to local artists and like help them promote their music. And like their conversation was just really good. And I really enjoyed it hearing like my son talk about all these different things, including like family and stuff. Like, because things you might say to me is something that you might not say to like your loved ones. Like I don't know like the relationship obviously it's different for every person, but like you might say something to me that
I'm
might be
very
meaningful to them.
much off the radar, bro. And I've just kind of always been like that. Like, I'm middle child, so it was just me in my room. I mean, I have boy cousins and shit like that, and I've been very, very close with my boy cousins. Like, I got into sports and skating and all that shit because of my boy cousins and stuff like that. But like, my fam, like, as a kid, I've always been like very much over there. Like, you need me, I'm here. But like, I don't know. I guess it's that introvert in me, bro. I'm just like very self reserved and I'm not really like trying to be in everybody's faces and stuff like that. And my mom gets pissed at me for it all the time. Like, you never call me. Like, I'm a bad mom. It's like it's not that. It's just like, I've always kind of just been that way, just to myself. Like, I don't really like bothering people, and
I feel the same way. Like I don't like
you know,
overly hit like people up, or I
and
don't
they
call
are
my mom. Or
dying for that, and it's like
also, you're saving
I
that though
don't
too a little
like.
bit because if you're constantly calling, constantly like, what could you
Yeah,
possibly say when you're in person? Like sometimes you don't need to update all the time on stuff or have conversations 20. Like I hate my phone's blowing up. I mean, there's really only one person I want to be talking to all the time. It's like my fiance. That's why she's my fiance. Like I'm with her all the time for a reason. Like that's the person. That's my person. That's who I'm picking. That's like that's it. Like, but other than that, it's like my family's my family. Obviously, I'm gonna love them, but I don't need to talk to them every day. I spent my last fucking like 30 years with them. Like they know me. Like I've been there. Like I'm not doing anything crazy different. Like it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like yeah, mom, wet my ass today. Like there's not so much I
I
could
feel like
say.
it's just that she like my all my family, my direct family, my pops, my two both my sisters, my mom, they're all in Florida. So
No, it's a little different.
it's that distance factor, you know what I mean? But it's I'm not the type to be on my phone all the time, to be on the phone just talking for hours or, you know, just doom scrolling and shit like that. Like I'm not really like on that time. And like I said, I don't really even like talking. So for me being on a podcast is like,
I appreciate you doing it.
out of body, you know what I'm saying? But I can hold the conversation and, all those basic skills, but it's like I'm not actively looking for that shit. Like I've
Mhm.
always not really liked the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that just never been me, like for the spotlight. So like just performing and being on this side of the shit, it's still surreal and weird to me at times. Just
I feel like, but like
everybody in the room is looking at me like it's just weird sometimes.
with a mindset like that, though, you're the type of person that deserves that, though. Like you should have that limelight because you don't want it. Those are the people that deserve it. Like because the people that are actively looking for it typically are not the people that should be having that shit or having the microphone or saying anything on social media with the loudest. Usually, like, the loudest voices are the dumbest voices. Like you don't want that. Like, it's not all the time, but like a lot of the time, like it's not the type of person you want representing a group. And those are typically the people that are because they're that way. So when you're reserved and kind of laid back and like you're doing your thing, that's the type of people that people crave. Like I think of someone like J. Cole or something like that, where like he comes off as so reserved and laid back in his style of music, the way he approaches the game, and like I appreciate that. I'm not even a fan of his music like that, and I appreciate the energy like that because like he's not actively looking for conflict. He's not actively looking for the beef 24/7. I know that's not always about like that's not the rap game all the time, but like I can respect that because it's like he's not also just rapping about bullshit either. Like it's like he's talking about like his life and his experiences and like it's not so much of that like 2016 rap. Like it's not like that shit. Like it's like true to the game and like I like people that are about their craft like that and like they're not show offy. Like there's a place for show offiness in art, but like the people that are reserved and stuff like that, I resonate with because that's how I feel about my stuff. Like, I'm not going to be in your face, like, buy my book or listen to my podcast. Like, I promote it because it's part of it. Like, but I'm not going to be like in your face about it. That's just
Mm.
not me. I don't want to be like that because like it's fucking annoying. Like, I don't want someone in my face, but like, read my book or listen to my music or do this. Like, I don't want no one tell me what to do. Like show me, but like don't tell me what to do. And I don't know it when I hear like the laid backness. I'm like, that's good energy. It's good vibes to
Yeah, I
me.
mean, it comes with the flip side of, I get you're too laid back. You have no emotion. You don't care about what's happening. And it's like on the contrary, bro. Like, I do care about, how other people feel. I do care about, our little argument that we're having, but it's like I'm not about to let none of that shit get me out of my body or get me to react. And it's like, um, I've been in a lot of situations where people are trying to say slick shit to try to get you to react. And like I said, I have a good read and I already know that's what you want. So it's like, bro, like I'm not about to give you what you want just because you want to see me act a fool and go off the rails and shit like that. It's like, I'm still learning, but like, having empathy and kind of showing that is a thing to make people feel connected and heard and seen, and making sure that when we're having an argument and it doesn't feel like I'm just brushing you off and I don't care type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100%. I mean, I've even had situations like that, like in relations to podcasts of like people who wanted to come on and like asking a bunch of different things that have nothing to do with the podcast, trying to like figure out what I am as a person and who I believe and what I believe in and stuff like that, and pressuring me to like say stuff that's just not me. And like they wanted a reaction almost. And it's like the type of person
clip farming.
like it felt so intentional. I was like, dude, like that's just I don't like what you're trying to frame me as is not who I am whatsoever. Look at my body of work with my podcast. Like, if you don't want to come on, you don't have to come on. I'm not pressuring you to. I just thought you'd be a good guest. And if you're upset with me or what you think I am, like that's nothing to do with me. That's literally all you. And it's like old me would have probably given them a reaction they probably would have hated but loved at the same time. But grown up me, I'm like, you let people like that just let them think they won. Don't even bother with them. Don't give them that energy because they want the energy. They want the response. Sometimes the best thing you could do in situations like that is not give the response because you're protecting your energy. You're protecting your peace. And
Mm,
like that shows a lot of growth. That shows like maturity. Like because you know who you are. You know what you've been through and like that's not who you're trying to be and what you're trying to be involved in. Like you see the future, you see your vision, you see the people you want to connect with. You don't allow those sideshows to get you distracted because like it's just gonna lead to the same shit you probably fucked up with when you were a kid, reacting to stuff when you shouldn't have reacted to it just because like immaturity. Like you didn't know any better. It just
mhm.
happens. And you grow through it and you learn through it and it's part of the process. We are getting towards like that back end of the podcast, and I wanted to ask kind of a couple more questions, and then I have like an ending question I always wrap with. But in terms of your music, where do you see yourself going, and are there any projects that you're working on that you could talk about?
Yeah, we got some shit cooking right now. So I'm engineering and helping my boy Angel Mercedes with the uh project called uh Pirates. So it's one of the newer projects that we have coming out soon. Visuals, short films, all of that will be incorporated into it. So it's definitely something to kind of look out for.
Is
Um
that in reference to kind of what you were talking about with like the
yeah,
mindset?
so
I love that.
a lot of the lyrical content relates to that. It's not just rap. It's art, and it's life experience and stories getting painted in a visual way, with not only like the videography and shit like that, but also the lyricism, the feel of the song, the emotion, all of that shit is intentional with this project that we're working on. So that's his project. I also have like a little something I'm working on. It's untitled. Just kind of piecing together other artists. It's very much like a posse cut project. Just highlighting a lot of the people that I have worked with right now. Ayo Lau, Rip Galliano, Capo Foreign, a bunch of different artists in Rhode Island where we're kind of putting stuff out. The latest shit I have is with Gorilla House. They're pretty big in Rhode Island right now. And they have that 90s New York feel to them. And I'm just thankful for making those connections again because, like, I've gotten to open up for people that I've never would have thought of opening up for. Like, I last year we opened up for Master Killer Wu Tang, and I'm a super Wu Tang head. You know what I'm saying? And we got to open up for Master Killer. We just opened up for Intel, which is You God's son, from Wu Tang Clan. So we got to perform with second generation Wu Tang. We did um the Wu Tang after party after Ghostface Killer was here. So, like, it's just shit like I would have never thought. You know what I'm saying? Just, you gotta catch us when we outside for real, because we really take over stages like that. Um, we're about to open up for Currency in May. May 22nd. We have tickets on deck. Um, and like I said, we're just curating community. So one of the things that we're doing right now is, like I said, the pirate shit is like a branch of everything. We're into merch too, clothing, fashion, all that. So one of the things that we've been doing is, like, if you purchase a ticket through us, one of the pirates, you get a free shirt, a free piece of our merch. Now you can go to the show and feel like you're part of the community. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we got going on, is just curating community in that way.
I love that, and I'm excited to see what you got coming up from down the pipeline. It's like because I was listening to some of the stuff that I was looking at CeeLo's page originally. It's how I obviously got to you, and then some of the clips that he was sharing. And then obviously I went to your page and like, man, you're spitting like I there's. And I'm not just saying this either. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
had people on the podcast that do music and they do music, and I would say you're towards the top, if not the top, with
oh, bro, thank you, bro.
with some of the artists that I've had on the podcast. Obviously, people do different music and different types,
Yo, and
but
it's crazy because I'm not even known like that right now. So it's just
yeah,
like,
like
you know
and
what I'm
you do a good
saying?
job and like the way you produce it and the way that I'll say that after. But the way you produce it and your lyrics and like just the sound of it, like it sounds like something you would hear on like I don't know if I'm scrolling and see like some like famous musician. Like I don't know, it's just like it sounds
That's the
good.
shit with me, is like, yo, like, it takes me a very long time to get on something or find a beat that I like. And it's just like,
People just begin on
I'm
anything.
not trying to rap on anything, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to rap the shit that I would listen to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it is. Like, I'm not really here to please the crowd. Like, I'm just doing this shit for myself. And that's kind of where the joy is. And it's like I said, on this pirate shit, you're not gonna steal my joy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing this shit for me, so fuck how you feel about it, type of thing. And just giving, obviously along the way, we're gonna pick up people that really rock with it and resonate with it. But you know, I just got sick of hearing the same drill rappers, the same motherfuckers rapping this, Migos flow and all this other dumb shit. And it's like, bro, you all sound the same. Like, that shit just irked me. And I, like, if you listen to my tape Headspace, none of the songs sound the same. Every song is a different feel. And like, I kind of did that intentionally because it's just like, that tape is literally through a whole year, just the ups and downs of emotion that I kind of went through. You know what I'm saying? So, starting with the first one, it's like, my girl that, I'm trying to bag you type of thing. The second song is, all right, what happens when that goes away? That honeymoon phase goes away. And now you start to have the problems. How are you talking to your significant other and trying to reel it back in? And then the next song is, fuck, I'm kind of depressed. Let's smoke. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of, if you listen to it, it's really like a mental journey.
I like that, and I like the name of it too. Like just especially with the description you kind of gave it. I mean, Headspace, yeah. That fits that energy, and that's like, I don't know. I like when people are creative with their stuff and actually can tell a story and like express emotions, because like we're not gonna go down the AI path. We're like towards the end, but like there's so much content out there in general that's just kind of soulless and emotionless. When someone can actually put their emotion into their art, I resonate with that because I feel like it's becoming rarer and rarer to actually experience. But we're at like the back end of the podcast, so I got one more question for you, and that question is, what would your advice be for someone who wants to pursue their passion?
Be a pirate and take what's yours. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do shit because they failed at it. That's what it is. This motherfucker over here could be like, yo, you're not going to be able to. Fuck all that. Create your own path.
Boom. I love that. Like this, too many people that will fold from the opinions of other people instead of just like take what's yours, go get that, because no one's going to give it to you. As much as we would love the world to give us what we think we deserve, you don't deserve shit unless you go and get it. Like you have to go and get it no matter what it is. Like hard work is always required, and it will be rewarded. It does get rewarded. I don't care what people say. You got to believe in that and you got to work for that. And on some level you got to take that, because if you're not going to take it, you're going to be stuck there with empty bags.
Nothing's going to be handed to you on a silver platter, bro. Sometimes you got to snatch it out of motherfucker's hand and show them what you could do with it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
It's pure just energy, and like the people who are meant to get it are going to rise to the top. Like, and if you're going to sit there and be passive about it, someone else is going to take your shit and keep going. Like, there's always someone that's going to be working harder than you, and you have to keep working to eventually work harder than them, because you never know when someone hits their breaking point. You got to get right past them, keep going. Like, you have to always keep going no matter what. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take time off from stuff. Like, it happens. We're human. There's going to be ups and downs in this creative journey that we go through. You've talked about it. I've talked about it. Like, it happens, but it's acceptable. And the key is getting back on the horse and then you keep going, because it's not about like how often you do it or how long you do it. It's, do you keep doing it? Do you ever give up, or do you keep doing it? And that's something that I kind of really hold on to when I think about this podcast, is like, never know when it could be the last episode. Things happen. Life's crazy. You never know. But like, I'm never going to stop creating no matter what it is, whether it's a podcast, a book, maybe I do something on YouTube or whatever it is. Like, that piece of me is always going to want to create. And you just can't allow that piece of yourself to give up on your dreams, no matter what that dream actually is.
Hmm.
But hey, I appreciate you coming on this podcast. Like, I really needed an episode like this, especially after the lapse that I've had. And like, I was literally saying to my fiance, I'm like, I really hope like, because like, I don't know you. I have no idea how this episode's gonna go. You never know how someone feels comfortable on a microphone and stuff like that. But like, I really appreciate you kind of going into depth with me and like going back and forth and like holding the conversation too. Like, that really means a lot to me, especially as a host, especially not being able to do this for a little bit. Like, I needed this one, so
No
I really
doubt.
appreciate you.
No doubt. And you better recognize my boy's a pirate too.
Appreciate you. So if you want, look into this camera and plug where people can find you.
All right. So we on IG at Dr. Doob. So it's at DR_DO0B. Um, Pirates of PVD on IG. I'm on Spotify. Just search Ayee Headspace. We on Apple Music too, if that's your thing. A lot of visuals coming out. You want to tap in for the currency opening? Hit me on DM. We got those tickets on deck. Free shirt. Holla.
Perfect. And for you guys, if you guys like the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your grandma. Check it out, the carrollconnection.simplecast.com. Also available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the major listening platforms. If you like to watch your podcast, go on YouTube, search the Carroll Connection or at Jared M. Carroll, and it'll pop up for you. And if you want to be a guest or return as a guest, hit me up on Instagram at Jared M. Carroll or at the Carroll Connection. We'll set that up. And as always, plugging the 5 pillars to creating meaningful life. If you enjoy reading and you want a short book, check it out. And then if you like the book, submit the review on Amazon. It goes a long way in the algorithm. So till next time, guys, peace.